Hey everyone, welcome to the Aligned Life podcast. This is Nicole, and together we're going to be diving into all things wellness, personal development, mindset, yoga, meditation, money mindset, all of those things. So if any of those interest you, please stay around. And if you are also interested in creating a life of more abundance and freedom, which is my ultimate goal, I have also created a 7-day Abundance Now program. You can find the link to that in my bio on my Instagram account at aligned.life. I hope that I can inspire you guys to live a life that's in alignment with your deepest desires. So with that, let's dive into today's topic. Today's episode is going to be all about how to do a money date, what the heck that is, and why you should even be attempting one. A money date is literally a time that you are going to set aside for yourself to get familiar with your finances and your expenses, to figure out where your money's going, why it's going there, and figure out the relationship that you have with your money right now. I like to teach a lot on money mindset because it is literally so important. Every single person uses money in their daily lives, and we interact with it all day long. And a lot of us don't even realize the relationship that we have with our money. I was not brought up within an education or a family dynamic where how to make money serve you was a big topic. Like most of people in the world, money was not even a topic of conversations at all. The only time that it was the lack of it, how it basically hindered my life experience in general. I was always taught growing up that money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard or you have to be really smart in order to get it. And what I've come to learn and that I teach in my other podcasts and YouTube videos is that money is literally only energy, and your relationship to it determines how it shows up in your life. So getting familiar with your finances is so important to cultivate this relationship with money and your expenses. Therefore, diving in how to do this, the fundamentals of how to set up this practice is first, your experience with getting familiar with your money is so important. A lot of people avoid their expenses and their finances because they're uncomfortable with it. It makes them nervous. They get anxiety. They know that they don't have enough and they're spending too much and they don't have enough coming in to cover what they have going out, or they're really ashamed of looking at their debt, which is the complete opposite of how to get yourself out of these situations. I know, for example, my mom, love her to death, not trying to call her out, but she is very uncomfortable with her money. She does not like looking at her accounts. She does not like looking at her debt because she feels a lot of shame around it. And I also have debt. I have student loan debt. I've had credit card debt. There's a lot of shame that goes with having certain kinds of debts. And debt isn't all bad. There's a lot of things that it can serve us with. And yes, there's a lot of things that it really hinders our ability to live the life that we want. But when we ignore those things, we only allow them to grow. So what we want to do with these practices is set up a good environment for us to enjoy this experience. So firstly, what you're going to do is pick a certain day where you're going to intentionally set aside for this. It's the same thing that you're going to do if you are dating someone and you are going to plan a night in, you're going to cook dinner, you're going to do candles, you're going to set up your environment, you're going to hopefully clean your space a little bit and create an environment where you want to have a good experience with the person that you love for that night. This is the same thing. We're going to set up this space however we need it to be to serve our best intentions. So if you need to light some candles, if you need to have a playlist going in the background that you love, if you need to change the lighting, like whatever you need to do to make this experience fun for you, do that. Set up your environment in order to support you when you want to do this practice, because we want this to be fun and we want you to enjoy this experience. And when you create an environment that is inviting, then you're more likely to do this. How this all works practically. I like to keep this super simple. I honestly just open up the notes application in my phone, or I guess on my computer. This is where I do it. But I like to have it there just because it's a super simple layout and I can access it both on my computer and my phone. So I don't have to be like sitting down. It's just something that I can easily access all the time. And how I do it, pick a title, pick something that is fun and supportive. Mine's called abundant spending. Like, use words that are going to support the kind of energy that you want to feel when looking at your finances. With that, the list that I create from there is I go and I look at my expenses for the entire month and write out everything that is coming out of my bank account for the entire month. I also will go and look at my quarterly expenses, yearly expenses, whatever those may be. I will also add those in at the bottom, but I like to lay it out into like 2 week categories. So, because if you're the typical person that gets paid 2 times a month, then this is also how you can set it up. But if you don't like this way, then don't do it this way. But I know that I'm self-employed, but I also do get a salary every 2 weeks. I have my first category expenses that will be coming out of my first paycheck for the month, and I list it out by the date that everything is coming out. I list the item of what the title is. I list, of course, the amount of which is coming out. And then I also list the bank account or credit card account or business account that is being pulled out of. Then underneath those 2 week expenses, I have my income for that 2 week and I calculate out how much of those expenses will be coming out of that specific paycheck. And then I set the intention for whatever money is left over to go where I want it to go. Setting an intention for your extra money is so important and it keeps you from spending more than you really need to. Last year or so, I have created an intention that I want to set my extra money for the intention to start investing in things, whether that's crypto, whether that's a retirement account, whether that's just a high yield savings account, whatever that is. I intentionally say, hey, any money that's left over, these are the places that I want to direct that money towards. You really want to focus on giving your money a place to go. Money is energy, and where you focus, it will go. And when you ignore it, I don't know what happens, but it will find out a way to go somewhere because money likes to flow. Money doesn't like to be stagnant. So, like I was saying, I have the first 2 weeks laid out, my income, the expenses, what I have left over, and then I have the second 2 weeks of the month laid out, the date, everything, card, what it's called, the amount, and then my expense, and then my income, and then what I have left over from that second paycheck of the month listed below. Of course, yearly expenses are something that I just put at the bottom just so I know, hey, like I'm going to need to have that much money in savings to cover whatever is going to come up around that time of year. And then I know that I have that money saved away where I don't have to think about it when the time comes. And also at the bottom, please list any debts that you have. Again, we do not want to create any type of negative associations towards these debts, but we do want to be aware of them. Because if you're not aware of them, then they're just going to catapult into this big mess of things that you're going to have to figure out and deal with one day. And if you're not paying attention to it right now, then like you're just creating a disaster for you in the future. So please list any and all of your debts, but do not associate any type of emotional charge to them. This is just so you're familiar, and these can be things where you slowly work off. These can be things where you dedicate so much from every paycheck to look at. Like, please be so patient with yourself and gentle with yourself on looking at these expenses. Don't judge yourself, but be real. Like, notice if you have too much coming out and too little coming in. Like, the whole point of this is for us to get familiar and to be able to adjust what we need. Go through all these expenses and figure out what you can keep and what you can get rid of. I know that I had a YouTube subscription because I hated watching ads because I watch a lot of like YouTubers. But like when I'm being honest with myself, the ads you can skip in like 3 seconds. So, yes, is it convenient? Yes. Is it necessary? Not really. So, that's an extra $20 that I can save for myself instead of investing in something that's not really serving me. I don't like to be super strict with my money. Like I've said in my YouTube video about paying off debt and also buying the coffee, I believe that it is very important for us to spend money on things that create positive experiences for us. And I don't believe in the energy of lack. I think that if you completely knock out everything in your budget that makes you happy, you're going to be miserable. And it's going to make the process of paying off any debt and getting back on track that much more miserable. So instead of doing that, I want you to work on cultivating a relationship to money where you trust it, to where you know that it can come in, to where you know that it can serve you, and to where you know that you can grow your income and open yourself up to receiving more. That's the important thing that we want to cultivate with all of this is opening up your energetic state to allowing more into your life, not less. So please focus on abundance and not lack. But if you are someone who does avoid your finances, I highly suggest please looking into this practice. And like I said in the beginning, make it fun for you. Do something that is going to make you enjoy this so that you can start to look at your money and your finances in a different light. That is the whole point of this process. So if you do end up picking up this practice, let me know how it goes. I hope this serves you. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Always, thank you guys for listening. And if you're wanting more content from me, you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at aligned.life. And I will be releasing new podcasts every Thursday. So if you want to keep in touch, please do. And I hope you have an amazing night, day, morning, whatever it may be for you. So we'll talk to you soon.